Pete Carroll is, to me, the greatest college football coach of all time, and he didn't coach as long as Nick at that level. There's a reason for Nick Saban's success, and that reason is Pete Carroll being in the NFL. When that's said, the room gets quiet, people get chills, and that is a cold, cold statement. And it's the true one, dog. There's a reason why the NCAA created a head coaching recruiting rule that the head coaches could not go out to the high schools but once a year. There's a reason why there was a text rule put in place so that head coaches could not text the players, the recruits. That's all Pete Carroll, dog. Pete Carroll clearly dominated at a level that is never going to be matched. The reason Saban is known for what he is because Pete Carroll left the game. He got out. And I just got asked this question, Smitty. You were young, but why can't nobody tell me what Nick Saban did during Pete Carroll era?
Because Pete Carroll was the king at the time.
I'm just saying. They're both the same age, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
So they're both 72 years old. But one person, Nick Saban, we never heard of, dog. Pete Carroll was going into Alabama and LSU and getting their best player to come to LA. Don't get it twisted. I was there. I was in the mix. So in my opinion, if Pete doesn't get ran out of town, Pete Carroll, I still don't believe you know who Nick Saban is. That's crazy.
That's a bold statement.
That's how crazy it may sound, but I'm just keeping it 100 though.
He got 7 of them things, JB.
He was in 4 out of 5 years. Like, do you think about what Pete Carroll was doing? Don't think Pete Carroll would have any more? Like,
how many Pete got?
He had 2, and then he went to 3 in about a 4-year span.
Ooh, right.
So you don't think he would have had?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
I'm saying. Now you go to the NFL and you do what you did in the NFL by going to 2 Super Bowls, basically a handoff away from winning 2 Super Bowls, creating one of the best defenses in NFL history. I say top 5.
For sure.
So
let me real quick, but before I forget though, let me ask you this: you mentioned the Super Bowl, you mentioned the handoff. That's a blemish on Pete Carroll's resume, though. Big blemish, in my opinion. Big blemish.
Well, so Nick Saban has those blemishes, and so does Pete Carroll. So does Bill Belichick. Here's the thing I have to say to that, though.
When you got 7 and 6, it's kind of you kind of overshadow the blemish.
People forget though when you go to a New England when they had Drew Bledsoe, young New England, Willie McGinnis, and you take them to the playoffs. People don't want to talk about Pete Carroll taking that New England team to the playoffs. People don't want to talk about Pete Carroll taking the Jet team that was atrocious to the playoffs. People don't realize Pete Carroll had a winning record in the NFL before he went to Seattle. People don't realize how great of a coach this dude is. I don't think they really realize, because it's about what have you done for me lately. And I think that we look at these things and we're like, everybody has their favorites and I think the younger generation is going to say Nick Saban and Belichick because that's what they know. And then the old school heads that know football, which I think all 3 should be on the Taj Mahal of football with Urban Meyer and Bill Parcells. I think that we're going to weigh it out like I am right now and really give everybody insight so everybody can make a real judgment on it, because the young cats don't know what Pete Carroll really is about. And let's just keep it real. Instagram, TikTok, they don't know what Pete Carroll did. And I'm just telling you straight up, giving you free game, that Pete Carroll's responsible for a lot of these dudes in here coaching these games that you guys are all excited about. So anyway, that's my rant. It's emotional to see great coaches and legends like that I know. They're all great in a different way. They're all great in their own way. A lot of peers hate them because they win, just like myself, just like Jim Harbaugh. And a lot of people will kiss their, whisper sweet nothings to them in their face and stab them in their back. And that's the profession we're in. So That's how, it's not like a favorite. It's more of I'm giving you all the possibilities so you can make your own judgment on this thing. But a lot of people don't realize that Pete Carroll dominated the college landscape and Nick Saban was in the mix. He was coaching and you didn't hear his name too much. And if Pete didn't get ran out, like I believe Harbaugh's getting ran out now, I think it would be a deal. Now, I want to get your take, though, on this topic. This is a long topic, obviously, but
there's going to be a lot of this on doing it today's show. Make sure you button your seatbelts up.
By the way, I think it is a plan. I after speaking to some guys last night, and obviously I made a video, and everyone hit me up about the video and was like, man, 1,000% spot on this one. I'm like, when D1 guys are telling me that, I'm like, all right, because I know I talk to these guys, and unlike everybody in the chat and all on Instagram and TikTok, I talk to these people still to this day, and not only players but coaches, of course. And Big Mac comes on the show and is like, man, JB's been saying this for years. I didn't believe it. Now I'm changing my tone as well, as Matt said yesterday. And Matt's like, I'm talking to guys too, and they're like, man, I'd go coach it. I'd go work at Walmart if I could make the same dollar that I'm making at Texas. They want out of this profession for a reason, and it is almost when it becomes no fun. When you're in this thing and you're coaching and it's not fun, it is a job, then what's the difference in working at Walmart and coaching at Texas? There is none. If you fear going to work and it's just about money, you still ain't going to be able to do your job the right way. You still ain't going to be able to. If you ain't have fun at your job and attack this shit like you really want to, you're not going to have fun, dog. You're doing it for a job. You're doing it for a paycheck. And I believe 90% of this stuff is doing it for a paycheck at this point. There's no more fun in this. And I know this from talking to these guys. And there's a reason they all resigned at the same time. And I'm just telling you right now, two of them, in Nick Saban's case, it's hit the precipice. Like there's no more going back to what, football should be. It's pay to play. And can he ante up? And can Alabama ante up? Yeah. They got the money. They got oil money. They could do whatever they want. But I think he understands this ain't what this game is, dog. This ain't what it's about. This ain't what it's for. This isn't, we're not going to teach kids nothing. We're not going to teach kids that there's going to be real bumps in the road in real life. And we can't teach them that no more because we can't sit one of them and bench one of them and tell them that you're not ready yet. You're immature. Your physical body's immature. Your mental mindset's immature. They don't want to hear that now because they single mama for the most part who thinks they sent them to 17 7-on-7 camps through 4 years of high school knows better. And they spent their hard-earned dollar, right? The single mother spends all their hard-earned money on their sons out of love, which I love. I tell the mamas all the time, that's what you're supposed to do as you're the mama. But you don't know why you're spending the money. And you don't know what you're spending the money on. You're spending the money on teaching your kid how to become soft. You're not teaching them tough skin, and you're teaching them a lot of times the wrong shit. These 7-on-7 trainers are teaching them horrible mechanics, horrible fundamentals. And then they go to their high school coach, Smitty, and they cross coach. And then the kid tells the coach, my trainer told me I should do it this way. And then the coach is like, you're a trainer. And then there's a beef. And now you got a beef at the household because the mama's paying a trainer. And dog, it's so convoluted now. It's so much BS involved that Saban's like, you know what? I got to go.